Dan Bongino finally speaks out in regards to the Epstein files, and he made a statement on his ex Twitter file, which we're going to discuss. Also, I'd like to report a sadly incident that happened in the NYPD. An officer, Islam, who passed away by a perpetrator, and he died as a hero protecting others. Badge number 25831. And I would just love to give a moment of silence of his bravery, his his heroicness to risk his life to save others and leaving his family and friends, co-workers behind. So I just want to give a moment of silence, please. Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome back to That's It. Okay, you guys, so we're going to start with Dan Bongino. Like, we haven't heard from him in a minute since the whole fiasco with the Jeffrey Epstein files. The files were going to be released, and Pan Bondi. I like to say Blondie, but you get my drift. That there was some discrepancy in releasing the files, not releasing the files. There's nothing there. When there was something there, you can understand the confusion. You can understand how people are saying, "What? I thought there was a file, but there was no files. I thought there was blackmail, but there was no blackmail. Which is it?" So it was a little confusing when, Deputy Dan Bongino in his podcast, he made it very, very known that Epstein files needs to be released. There needs to be some transparency. The files need to be released. People need to know the truth. And all of a sudden, he's saying there's no files. There's nothing. And I'm like, what? There's nothing. And I'm like, he's telling people this because he was very, very vocal on his podcast. And his podcast is very popular. And he's been saying it that Epstein files need to be released. People need to know the truth. People that were involved in a human trafficking with Epstein needs to be accountable. And like I said, he did a 180 and there's nothing there. Nothing happened. Well, it seemed like over the weekend, he made a statement on his ex Twitter, which I'm going to read to you very quickly. During my tender year here as the Deputy Director of the FBI, I repeatedly relay to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening. The Director and I are committed to stamping out public corruption and the political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operation. It is a priority for us, but what I have learned in the course of our properly predicated and necessary investigation into these unformamented matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run the Republican like this. I never been the same after learning what I've learned. We are going to conduct these righteousness and proper investigation by the book and accordingly with the law. We are going to get the answers we all deserve. As with any investigation, I cannot predict where it will land, but I can promise you an honest and dignified effort at the truth. Not my truth or your truth, but the truth. God bless America and those who defend her. Respectfully, Dan. Hot damn. Hot damn. What did he saw? What did he see that scared him to his core, you guys? What is it? I'm just going to, guess, because I've been wrapping around in my head, when I was reading this statement. Is it possible? Is it possible? And that's just me thinking, okay, just wait a minute. That's just me thinking. Is it possible that Dan Bongino is saying that rerunning perverts and pedophiles? Is he saying that in his head like, oh my gosh, we're running perverts and pedophiles? They are in our government. They're in this government, that government over there, this government. What the? That's what he's thinking. That's what he's wondering. Like, oh my gosh. When he said that, it shook me to my core that I will never, ever be the same again. His eyes is open. He finally seen the truth. You see how God works? When things are hidden in the dark, God bring it to the light. And he brought it to the light. He brought it to the light and he showed Dan Bongino what's been going on. Okay? And it shook him. Okay? Rightfully so, because he has children. You know what I mean? He can't imagine this is happening and people are getting away with this. That this is okay when it's not okay. You know what I mean? So he's going to get to the bottom of this, and I hope and pray he really does get to the bottom of it. I hope this statement is not a bunch of smoke. You know what I mean? That he's actually going to do something about it. Because Pam Bondi, she said it back in February. The Epstein files is on my desk, ready to review. Okay, then she brought influencer to the White House with these fake ass binders, thinking that there's something in there when actually there was nothing there. Okay, so I just hope and pray that Dan Bongino is really sincere in the statement that he posted over the weekend on X, that he's really telling the truth, that whatever he saw that shook him to his core and he's utterly disgusted and he will never be the same again. Okay, that maybe he knows someone that's in whatever he saw, that he probably knows them. Okay, that he got not involved but worked with them or seen them in other governments or other countries. That he's totally shocked, and I just hope and pray that him and Kash Patel will take some legal actions, like he said, because I'm going to hold him to this, and a lot of American people are going to hold this to him as well. They're going to hold this to him, that he's going to honor his word, and then there is going to be action in place, and there's going to be some accountability of the people that were involved in this, and that the names and the people are going to be going to prison. You know what I mean? Prosecuted, something. Okay? And I just want to talk about, before I talk about my next topic, Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, this is just my opinion. I don't buy the whole her telling the attorney, the U.S. attorney, what she knows. Because think about it. It doesn't make any sense to me. She's been in prison for how many years now? She's serving a 20-year prison sentence. And now she's going to release some information. She could have done that years ago. Why now? Why now? She could have easily told her lawyers, listen, I'm innocent. I know the names involved. Blah, blah. She could have easily called the DOJ and say, listen, I know some people. If I tell you the names, would you cut me a deal? Well, my sentence would be short. So I don't know. I just feel like something is fishy. Something doesn't seem right, because why now that she's releasing some type of half-ass information to the DOJ when she could have done that a long time ago? I just don't trust it, to be honest with you. I don't trust her. She is a pedophile herself. She abused these young women under Epstein's order. She enjoyed doing this. She didn't have no remorse. She didn't really care. She just wanted to do it to please her dead boyfriend, and then just to get some type of satisfaction behind this, okay? I don't believe this at all. I don't think the government should trust this woman, because I don't believe anything that she says. And I don't think anyone should take her word face value either. She's probably just giving word salad. Okay, word salad. I don't trust her, because it doesn't make any sense. Why now? She could have easily, you guys, said something a long, long time ago. Why now? She could have easily contacted her lawyer. Like I said, her lawyer would have contacted the DOJ, DOC. I call them the DOC, the Department of Corruption. Department of Corruption. Anyway, she could have easily do that. And now they're trying to work some type of deal with her so she can be released. I wouldn't even work any deal with her. I would just cut my losses and let her rot the rest of her days, her life in prison, okay? Because what she's saying, if she said anything, if she give any type of information, is it credible? Is it true? I hope they fact check her. I hope they check everything, make sure what she's saying is right. Because think about it. I know that they're not dumb. The FBI, the CIA, or attorneys that's working for the government. I hope they're not really that stupid or dumb to believe anything that this woman has to say. Because again, she worked. She was with Epstein for many years. She dealt with all his bidding. Okay, and she's the only one that's serving time. The rest of them that were involved, they're not serving time. So I don't know. I just don't trust it. I don't trust her. Honestly, I really don't. And I hope any information that she gives, I hope they check it, double check it, fact check it, and make sure that what she's saying is true. And also, I don't think that she should be released because it's not fair to the victims, and I don't think it's right that you don't even contact the victims and tell them, listen, by the way, we're going to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell, and she may release some information that may help us to if people were involved in this, that we can bring them down too. When they knew this from the get-go, from under Joe Biden administrator, excuse me, and then Trump as well. They all knew. The Democrats, the Republicans, they all knew who was involved in this, and they chose not to say anything. They chose to keep their mouths shut, and now they want to expose everyone now because they hate Trump. Okay, they hate him so much they're willing to do whatever it takes to for Trump to have Pan Bondi to release the files. Now, like I said, I don't think Trump is involved in the whole human trafficking thing. I don't think he is at all. He had nothing to do with it. That's just my opinion. Was he friends with Epstein? Yes. Did he travel with him a little bit? Yes. Did he go to the island with Epstein? Absolutely not. Because if he did, the Democrat would have used that a long time ago. They would have used that and weaponized Trump a long time ago or blackmail him. So I don't think, I know. I know that President Trump did not go to that pedophile island for a fact. I think that maybe Trump knows who was involvement in this. Maybe one of his family members. Maybe he is frightened that something might he got threatened. I don't know. To me, if I have no involvement in the human trafficking ring and I was just friends with this man for 15 years and I have nothing to hide, then I'm like, release everything. I have nothing to hide. I didn't do anything. I didn't go to that pedophile island and have sex with the underage girls. No. But again, I don't know why he's not releasing it. I don't know why President Trump is giving pushback. Not saying that he's not doing amazing things. He is. He is doing amazing things for our country. However, he promised the American people transparency, accountability, and that things were going to be revealed of the Epstein file. So if you say something, you got to follow through. You got to follow through with your words. The American people are not going to forget, okay? We're not forgetting the good things that you've been doing, but we're not going to forget about the Epstein files either because people need to know the truth and people need to be accountable for what they're doing because right now they're running, not the government, well, maybe the government. Yeah, the government. I'm going to say that thing. They're running a pervert and a pedophile operation that it's in our government. Okay, let's just be very clear about this. Let's not be naive and stupid or just nonchalant. There's pedophile in our government. Okay, I know it. You know it. The whole world knows it. Okay, it's the fact that it's being covered up. It's being covered up. It's like it doesn't want to be. No one doesn't want to expose it. I don't know why. Because these are innocent children were being molested and abused and raped and human trafficking, and I just don't understand why these stuff is not being brought upon. You know what I mean? Why this is not being investigated and the perpetrators that were involved in this go to prison. I don't understand. Why the protection? Why? It's beyond me. I don't understand it at all. But like I said, things are rattling, things are coming out because something shook Dan Bongino. Something shook him to his core, and I hope and pray that he really meant what he said in the statement, that he will do an investigation and he will bring justice to the victims. Because that's what the victims need. They need justice. They need peace. Okay? This has been going on for way too long, you guys. Way too long, and there's no accountability. Epstein's dead. Ghislaine Maxwell is serving 20 years. She might be released. They might work a deal with her, which I think that's foolish, and they should not cut a deal with her because she's lying. She is lying. She doesn't know anything because if she did, she would have said something a long time ago. Okay, Long time ago. I don't believe anything that comes out of that woman's mouth. She's lying. She's lying. But anyway, I will keep you updated on that. But the next move is going to happen. At the end of the day, the ball is on Kash Patel and Dan Bijoni's balls court. Excuse me. You get what I'm saying? Court balls. It's on their it's on their court. You know what I mean? They have to do what they have to do because Pam Bondi, she's not doing shit. She's not. She is useless to me and to the whole country, and she's pretty much dumb, in my opinion. Okay, because she don't want to do anything. Okay, she's just doing a half-ass job, telling people what they want to hear. With all of it, was she was just lying in the first place. But anyway, moving on to the next thing. Now, Officer Islam, an NYPD officer, got shot while he was protecting others and protecting other victims involved in this. It's just really sad. He was 36, immigrant from Bangladesh. He served 3.5 years veteran in NYPD, and he lived in the Bronx. He lived in the Bronx. He's a father of two. Wife is pregnant with their third child, and I just my heart just breaks for the wife, the two young boys, his entire family. It's just very sad that this young officer who had his whole life ahead of him, and he risked his life to protect others. Off-duty cop, and he was working at his second job. Okay, and I believe he was working at his second job doing security. And this happened in a 345 Park Avenue in Manhattan, New York. And he was shot and killed while providing security service at that building. And this happened on Monday evening around approximately 6:30 p.m. And the gunman, and I don't want to mention the gunman's name because you know what, he's fucking irrelevant. He's just such unhinged. And what he did to that police officers among four other people that got killed. So it was a total of six, I believe, six people got killed, including the suspect. And I don't want to mention his name because he's not even relevant because you know what, he's unhinged, deranged, and he took his own life. Coward. Okay, took his own life. Now I don't even want to know why he did it. I know they're probably going to explain it later. Mental health. He had mental health issues and stuff like that. But he's not even relevant right now. He took innocent innocent lives. Okay, innocent lives that didn't deserve to die. Okay, this man is never going to come home again. The wife, his wife, the wife lost a husband. The children would never watch his son grow up. The third baby is on the way. He's never going to. The police officer is never going to see his daughter or son. I don't know if she's having a boy or girl, but you get my drift. You know what I mean? Young, 36 years old, had his whole life ahead of him. 3.5 years in a police in a law enforcement. 3.5 years, and he was working a second job. Okay, I can't even imagine that knock at the door when another police officer or a commissioner knocking at the door and telling this wife that your husband died. I can't even imagine what she's going through and the whole entire family. And my condolences goes to them. I can't. And it's so unfair. It's so not right. And there's not going to be any justice for him or for the other victims that the other victims' families have to deal with because this perpetrator offed himself. How's that fair? How's that justice? It's just so wrong. So the suspect barricaded himself in the office and found with uh, found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officer Israel was served in a New York Police Department of 3.5 years, like I said, was assigned to the 47th precinct, and his wife was 8 months pregnant. 8 months pregnant. I can't even imagine what the wife is going through. I really can't. And like I said, it's just very sad day to go through to lose a police officer, to lose other civilians as well. That they didn't have nothing to do with this. It's just some unhinged, deranged man just walked up to the building with this weapon and just started shooting people. Just started shooting people. And a lot of people lost their lives because of this man for no apparent reason. I know a lot of other people in the building, they barricaded themselves as well, to protect themselves so the gunman wouldn't get to them. But unfortunately, the gunman took his own life. Now, I just want to read to you very quickly, excuse me, what Mayor Eric Adams had to say. He was doing what he does best. He was saving lives. He was protecting New Yorkers. Mayor Eric Adams said during a press conference, he loved this city, and everyone we spoke with stated that he was a person of faith and a person who believes in God and believe in living out the life of a godly person. Sorry. He is a true blue New Yorker. Amen. And it's just so unfortunate. And now he's in heaven. He's home, and it's just unfortunate that he's not going to see his three children grow up. These three amazing children lost their father, lost a husband, lost a friend, lost a colleague, and it's just really sad and unfortunate. And we just need to, keep our eyes guarded. You know what I mean? When we are in a situation like this, and everyone did the right thing, call 911, call the other people, barricade themselves. They were trained for this. Especially when things have been, school shootings and stuff like that. What you do to prepare yourself for something like this, and no one ever thought in a million years on a Monday evening that some deranged, unhinged person will walk into a building with an automatic weapon and just start blazing shooting at people for no apparent reason, so he can get his point across, and he ended up dead anyway. There's probably going to be a note, you know what I mean, a suicide note why he did this, and we will probably know more information. The fact of the matter is he took innocents' lives. He took people's lives for no apparent reason, and people are not going to see their loved ones ever again. The wife is suffering. The family members that got caught in the crossfire, their families are have to deal with this as well because they lost their loved ones in that building in Midtown Manhattan, and it's just sad. It's just sad and unfortunate, and we just have to continue to pray for these family and just don't take life for granted because we're here today, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, and we just have to keep reminding ourselves that to love each other, tell your loved ones that you love them. Don't go to bed mad. Thank God each and every day that we get to live another day because tomorrow is never promised. And I just don't have no words for the victims, what they're going through, the sorrow, the pain, dealing with funeral arrangements, trying to explain to your young children that daddy's not coming home. He risks his life to save others. And that's what true New Yorkers are. That's what police officers do. They serve and protect. And he was off duty. He could have easily, ran away and not do anything, but he risked his life to save others. And to me, that's a true, true hero in my book. And like I said, I pray for them. I pray for the families that are going through this morning, and no one should go through this pain and suffering at all. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you so much for watching. That's it, and I will see you guys tomorrow.